Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show. And we're back after a drab FA Cup weekend. Didn't fancy doing a preview or a review for obvious reasons of the FA Cup. I knew we were going to go out deep down. So, we're back for a Premier League preview. And I've got the likely lads. Unfortunately, this will be actually Lox's last time with us. Lux has decided to go for another career route. I don't know what that is yet. Probably a globetrotter or something along them lines. Maybe he'll start doing holiday vlogs or something, seeing as he's never in this country. But yeah, Lux, you're leaving the YouTube scene. Is that right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not really in the YouTube scene as it is, to be fair. But yeah, I'll still see you. I'll still pop on. It's just, obviously, I won't be on every week. I'm not now anyway, to be fair, but you know what I mean? It's just get Joe can get someone else who's, full time.
A bit more reliable.
Exactly. Yeah. But I'll still definitely be, every time we win, I'll come on.
Yeah, that's what you do anyway, brother. That's what you do anyway. Like, nothing changes there, but all avid viewers of Locks in the Box will be absolutely good. That one video, please just keep that forever. Just you and Corey in that.
It was a great vid, man. Like, I actually really enjoyed doing it. Like, I'm gutted, but
there you go. Corey, how are you, mate? After you've been on a decent run now, obviously beat us in the FA Cup, beat Norwich as well. So, you must be feeling good right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel a lot better than I did about 3 weeks ago. It's nice. It's nice. I think just in terms of performances, form's a big thing. Obviously, this month we discussed West Ham trying to rack up some points with the teams around us. So the fact that we are performing and listen, last night, obviously Bowen was exceptional, but the fact that Creswell's now back in the team, Zuma back for Manchester United, you get a couple of signings in, it'll look really, really tasty by the beginning of Feb. So, do you know what? The problem is, I was thinking about this the other day as well, because I'm not used to West Ham being as good as we've been. I've been very, very happy. And then now I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm thinking, just calm down. It's a long season. So, yeah, hopefully it continues, mate, because, it's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, hopefully we can. I just can't see it, but maybe
I'm genuinely looking forward to Sunday because I know at least that game felt West Ham. I didn't expect West Ham to play a stronger team. Genuinely, I sent you my team, and I was like, fair play, Moyes. But Sunday we'll see a bit more of a contested game. I think you bring on Rafinha if Bamford's fit. I'm not sure, but yeah, it should be a little bit more tasty than it was because it felt quite comfortable to me. I don't know how it felt to you, but I didn't ever feel a bit jolty.
Yeah, we'll get into it a little bit earlier on, but I felt we were better in the first half than we were in the second, and we brought on all the big hitters in the second half. But I think a lot of that's down to West Ham being in front and then just saying, right, come on to us, and then we'll catch you on the counter. And we always struggle to break teams down. I think we've always struggled even in the Championship to break teams down, So unless it's a bit of a basketball match and it's end-to-end, then, we'll always struggle in them scenarios. I don't know what your thoughts were on that.
To be honest, I thought we were all right on Sunday. I didn't have much to criticise. I thought, considering the players we had out, certainly from the start of the game, I thought first half we were fine. I thought a little bit unlucky to be one down.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think West Ham will probably put out a similar team to what they did on Sunday, and we'll have a stronger team out. So by that logic, you'd say we'll probably be more competitive in the Premier League game. But
you would say that, but in the second half we were less competitive, and he brought his players.
Yeah, but you said it yourself. We were one down in the game. The game state was different. West Ham are superb in those kinds of. David Moyes is one of the best game managers in the whole league for me in terms of managing a game. You go one up. Very rarely you see a David Moyes team fall apart in that kind of respect. No, there's been a couple of times where West Ham have been like...
Unless we go 3-0
hang on, Corey. I know what you're going to say. There's been a few times we've been 3 or 4 up. It's got a bit tense, but you're still seeing your way through the game. Considering... and look, West Ham have got people like Declan Rice on that pitch. We had players making their debuts, so that was a big thing to consider as well. The league is our bread and butter this season because of where we are on the table. I think that was clear. I think we were experimenting, I felt, a little bit on Sunday with a few things. Rafinha went into the 10 role. A lot of Leeds fans wanted to see that. I think, from my memory, I think that's the first time Raf's gone into that position. For me, personally, I'd rather just see him stay on the right and be one of James or Harrison on the left. And then obviously go for it from there, really, because I just think your best player should play in his best position. I think that's the reason Bielsa hasn't played him in the 10 role. Yeah. But I wasn't that upset with how we played.
Yeah, again, and I think a lot of that, like you say, if it was the league, it'd be a totally different ball game. Mm-hmm. But I think just because it was the FA Cup and how strong West Ham went at the start of the game, I was a bit like, I'd have preferred him to just keep the same lineup in the second half and then maybe bring on Dramé instead of bringing on Dallas up, bring on Forshaw up. That was just my opinion. I just thought it was a little bit needed.
West Ham are top 6, though. That's the thing as well. This isn't West Ham 2 years ago. This is a good team we played and they put the full team out. So, look, at the end of the day, how many teams have West Ham beat at home this season relatively easily? You know, it's just one of those things. And I think the fact that West Ham played last night, hopefully that plays into our hands a little bit. Obviously, we're going to talk about that game later on. But I thought we gave a decent account of ourselves. It was good to see Robin Koch go into centre back in that sort of last half an hour or so, because he's going to obviously start there with Diego Llorente's suspension. I thought he did a good job on Antonio, all things told. And
do you know what? He held as well, and we were saying before about Creswell up against Antonio, and then he held making his debut at the weekend, and he didn't look. The only one was where he got rolled for the first goal by Vlasic.
He was unlucky though for me, because he actually wins the ball back and it just deflects out to Bowen. And I thought he was a bit more. I know what you mean. He got rolled initially, but he recovered really well. I thought, even in that situation, and I thought, it just sums up our season so far. Goals like that going in, really. You know, the deflections went against us, and
the future's bright in that respect. I think we've got some good young players coming back, and if I think I don't know, 5 years down the line, you might have Hjeldy and Creswell being your centre-back partnership. It's not bad. It's not bad, is it, really, to be fair?
I mean, Pascal. Look, we forget about Pascal. You know, he's obviously contender. That's the trouble, isn't it? It's but look, Hjeldy. What will Hjeldy be like? The 7th, 8th choice centre back, and he's decent. So it shows we've got the depth there.
Yeah, definitely. Pete Benson says, thank you for the super chat. Bamford and Rafinha to score fitness tests, obviously. If they come through fitness tests, I think Rafinha's fine. I've not seen anything.
Yeah.
But I did see during the week the guy from the Mirror who's been pretty bang on during January for what Leeds news. I forget his name, David Anderson, maybe. He said that Bamford and Rodrigo were very, very close and could well be in contention for the weekend, which would be absolutely massive if that was the case. Because prior to Burnley, I know we're all doing Leeds here. Sorry, Corey and Locks. But prior to Burnley, someone said to me in the ground, like, apparently Bamford was supposed to be in the squad. I mean, Oscar will probably know because he's in the know now, but he'll let us know. But I heard Bamford was in the squad, and then Greenwood got drafted in, and then we thought he was going to be fit for West Ham, and he wasn't. And then I was like, this is giving me horrible, like, Forshaw vibes when he keeps having this recurring injury. But hopefully he'll be back at the weekend, and Rodrigo, and that'd be huge. I'm just going to...
Because the thing is, in that game, we talk about, obviously, we did have some decent, like more half chances than anything, but even that one that fell to Dan James with 10 minutes to go, I think Bamford anticipates Dawson misses that and probably is in a better position to take the chance. Dan James just doesn't... You know what chance I'm talking about? The cross from Harrison.
Yeah.
I think Bamford. I think the commentator said, James wasn't expecting it, but I'm thinking Bamford's penalty box striker, I think, is expecting Dawson to miss it or anticipated it and might even be taking that chance. So these little margins, isn't it? And I think Bamford, Rodrigo can only help in that respect.
What I will say, we're doing it now, so we might as well do it. We'll do West Ham. We'll do West Ham League.
I didn't want to chime in because I was like, do you know what? Like, if
we'll do it. But what I will say, and I listened to Corey on All Stats Aren't We before the game, and it was fantastic, mate. So big shout out for that. The knowledge is unreal over at Corey Kemp's end. I can't lie, I was impressed.
You come on the channel whenever you want, mate.
But there was one thing you said in the preview to the game, and you mentioned about communication, and there was one point where Diop and Areola nearly got in each other's way. And I did look at Diop and Dawson, and there was a number of times where either Souček or Rice was saying to them, come on, bring it out, and they bring it up to a point, and 9 times out of 10, some would run into trouble. And I did think, if we can get Bamford back, he would be all over them too. Is that a concern for you?
It is and it isn't. It's better because Soufal and Creswell are now back. The balance of the back four last night was improved. I think Lanzini, I wouldn't play him in the number 6, but he played alongside Declan Rice. He's so comfortable in possession. I think we'll be better off. The only problem is, and I have seen it a number of times, is when you've got Dawson, Diop and Fabianski, the communication isn't there. And that's because Diop's too hesitant and Dawson's not very mobile. Dawson's probably the better defender in terms of if he's sitting deep, he can deal with it, he can block. But it's that relationship with one another. I'm seeing things in Diop's game that are improving. He's covering for Dawson when he's getting pulled out wide. When he's confident, he's trying to break through the lines a bit more. So there's an improvement there. But I think I was doing a preview today for the Leeds game, and I said Bamford's the problem, because if Bamford's going to press, and West Ham are going to ask someone like a Dawson or a Diop to play out from the back, that's still a problem even with Chris and Soufal in, or the fact that he's got great movement in behind, which is something that he offers, naturally good movement as a number 9 that some of your other options don't. And if Diop hesitates and someone like Bamford's read it, that's a problem. So, and we are expected at home to get on the ball and be good in possession and create chances. So you'll always free yourself up for that. But I'm hoping the West Ham that I've seen probably since the Palace game, the balance between defence and offensively has been much better. So we've got to manage it, mate, big time. Because if we don't, that's what I'm saying. You can't write Leeds off, because I thought even in that first half, sometimes your transitions in wide areas were problems for us. But I'm hoping because our back four is looking better, particularly in wide areas, we'll be fine. But famous last words, mate. Hopefully.
Yeah. Oscar, so for me, like I wouldn't be surprised for us to get a win. You just never know. You just never know. If you could give me a point now, I would snap your hands off. I can't lie. Just with Newcastle on the horizon, because if you get a point down at West Ham and then beat Newcastle, I know it's early days, but I'm then looking at a bigger gap and thinking, we're all right now. Like, I know it's still a long way to go, but I think beating Newcastle is huge. But are you the same thinking, Oscar? Would you take a point, or do you think there's more in it for us at the weekend?
I'd take a point, but we'll play on the front foot, because that's the way we'll always play under Bielsa. It's almost the thing. You look at West Ham, you think you're half tempted to say, if you sit in against West Ham and give West Ham loads of the ball, the likes of Bowen, Antonio, are they as good against like a deep block in that kind of respect, or a team that sits back in that lot? And to be fair, I think West Ham have got better at doing that. But for us, we've just got to play on the front foot. And it's hard to do that against West Ham, because you've got people like Declan Rice in there, Zuchek, who are so good on the ball that they can get West Ham out of trouble and up the pitch really easily. So it's going to be difficult in that respect. But I expect we'll play the same way. It'll be interesting who goes into the Calvin role in this game. Obviously, we had Robin Cox start there in the cup game. He will play on the right side of the back four, I'd imagine, and it'll be either Helder or Ayling will come across. So it'll be who goes into the 6 role. Probably Adam Forshaw, you'd have thought. And then it presents who goes ahead of Adam Forshaw then. It's going to be Matthijs Klick, but there's kind of then, it's anyone's really space after that. Lewis Bate might even go into that position. I don't think he will, but there's a possibility. Because I'm thinking in terms of injuries, who else can go in there really? Because obviously Tyler's out. Rodrigo, I would have thought wouldn't start the game, even if he is back available. I would have thought he'd probably start off the bench. So it'll be interesting in terms of what team we go with. But again, you've got Rafinha on that right-hand side. I think Creswell's a good left-back, but I do think Creswell can be got at, to be honest. Certainly 1v1. I think Rafinha on his day, we saw it at Ellen Road. I thought Creswell had a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, against Rafinha at Ellen Road. And it was only after Rafinha came off injured with 20 minutes to go that West Ham really did start to get stuff going on that left-hand side. Creswell, I can't remember who came on for Raf on that day, but whoever it was, didn't quite. No one has the same threat as Raf in our team. That's fair to say. He's our best player. But it gave Creswell more license to then push up. And I just think when you got Rafinha in the team from the start, in his best position, I think it's a different factor. And then you got the debate of who starts up top. Will it be Dan James starting up top again? So these are all different kind of things that, obviously Dan James, there's a lot of work to do in terms of as a false nine, if you like. But
do you think we're in a situation, Oscar, where for me, you have to start Rodrigo, you have to start Bamford?
Well, I think Bamford Bamford, I think, has still managed, what is it, like 5 goal contributions in 5 starts. So he's been on it. When he's played, he's scored or assisted. Yeah. So we know what Bamford's going to give us. He's inevitable in terms of throws. He's probably our most inevitable player in terms of goals and assists.
I've never heard him coined as inevitable.
25 goals and assists
More
last season.
Inevitable. I'm not sure Paddy.
Last 18 months he has been. Come on, last 18 months he has been for us. If someone's getting on the goal scoring sheet in the last 18 months for Leeds, Bamford's scoring it or he's assisting it most of the time. Inevitable might be a bit far. I might have made him sound like Kareem Benzema there, or Mo Salah. But all right, he's inevitable for where we are in the table. But yeah, no, I would personally like to see Bamford
5 times out of 10, something like that. You know what I mean?
We'll put it this way: I do think Diop and Dawson would much rather play against Dan James than Bamford. I think Dan James would admit that himself. It says if we get a natural centre forward in there, for me it will be Bamford over Rodrigo, and I think it will be. If one of them is to start, I'd imagine it will be Bamford instead of Rodders. But yeah, you look in terms of the pressing, everything's better with Bamford on the pitch. So it's I might have gone a bit far on that inevitable thing, but he's not. He's been out for ages. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Forgive me.
No, it's all right. I hear you. Obviously, Locke's been the neutral in this one. And it pains me to say it because it's just a fact of where we are. But do you give Leeds any hope in this game?
I mean, if it was Ogbonna and Zuma at the back, I wouldn't. But I think there's always a chance. I watched the game the other day, and like Oscar said earlier on, you gave a good account of yourselves. I think you had, was it 10 players out, 10 first team players out. So. And, Bowen, can I just say, I love Jared Bowen.
Mate, don't even go there with me, mate. He's unbelievable. What a player.
I watched him ages ago. I put on a random whole game, I think, and I saw him and I kind of like the look of him. And obviously now he's just gone on to better things. And I saw Moisey say as well, he's got to be close to that call up to England, and he's got to be, in my opinion. Yeah, when you've got players like Bowen and Lanzini who's on form, obviously Ben Rama as well, you've got there's players there which could put 3-4 past you, but I don't fancy a thrashing by West Ham. I think it will be closer than that, but I still see West Ham winning, so I'd probably go for a 2-1, maybe 1-0, something like that, just one goal in it.
Bowen is special. I mean, there was a time when he was Hull City. Like, that was it. It was Jared Bowen or no one else. Maybe Grzycki for a small period of time. But Jared Bowen was just unreal. We were linked with him in the Championship as well for a small period of time.
We were.
Yeah. It seems a really astute signing. How much did you pay for him, Corey?
20 mil.
And when he moves on to Liverpool...
for 70, 80, yeah. I ain't selling him for nothing at the minute, mate. I'm telling you that. He's looking better and better. It's nuts this season. Like, if you ask any West Ham fan, we've loved him because of his work rate and everyone respects him for that. But in terms of end product now, he's coming into his own. I don't know whether it's confidence, whether it's adaptation to the league. Last night he could have had a hat-trick, a bit more composure. It's just the runs that he's making as well. I think you see for Hull City, obviously got nearly 20 goals. It's like a ridiculous stat before he left in January. So, and I just think Moyes has said this for a number of times. He's going to get better. He's going to improve. It's frightening if he gets better than this because
is he inevitable, Corey?
He's 70% inevitable. Not 50 like Paddy. He's kind of there. He's improved. Do you know what though? Last night we come up against Norwich. They were compact. They were deep, and a lot of the times we're sitting there struggling to break down teams. You just said it. If a team sits deep against us, can Bowen or Antonio do it? When Antonio isn't stepping up or he's occupying a centre back, Bowen's now taking the responsibility to make the run across the centre back, to make the run in behind. And it's just like a light bulb moment for us because we've always depended on Antonio. Everything builds from him, but the fact he's taking responsibility, Lanzini, Fornals, like all of these players now are starting to just come into their own. So yeah, it's nice. They had to, mate. We were awful for about a month. We didn't create anything, so it was about time.
Yeah, no. So
England, get him in the England squad.
Yeah, no, I would
get him in an England shirt, mate.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Proud moment.
Be good.
He's in better form than Sancho and Rashford. Let's be honest.
I think, I genuinely think people will go, oh, it's not Foden. And I understand, but I do think he's worth looking at. I do think he's worth looking at that level. He's definitely got ability. He'll be slightly different to what we've got, but there's no harm. I don't think he'll get in the World Cup team. Maybe if he continues form, maybe he'll make it difficult, but I just want to see him in an England shirt. He deserves it. And Southgate's got to be a man of his word and say, if you get in that type of form, then you get a call up. No,
I back it as well. I do. No, that's fair. So, win at the weekend then, Corey. Are you expectant?
I am. The problem is, I mean, these are tough weeks. We've had them quite a number of times this season where we've had 3 games in a week. And the minute we played that strong team on Sunday, I thought Moyes is just going to go for it. He's going to play pretty much the same team throughout the week. Got no Souček. I think he's got COVID. No Noble could have COVID. And Fredericks as well. So squad depth's looking a bit poor, and we'll obviously have to adapt the way that we play. The concern would be Antonio, if he's absolutely knackered by Leeds. If he's knackered, his level drops off significantly. I thought he still had energy against you lot first time round, but I'm slightly concerned. I think we'll nick it 2-1.
Did he play last night, Antonio?
This is the matter. He did. He played 90 minutes, and you could tell in second half. I mean, if West Ham ever sit behind the ball, he's given special exemption. Won't press. He's given the freedom to do it because he's proven this season he can be clutch at least in moments, like he was against you in the FA Cup with a pass at the end. And so he'll play tomorrow. He'll play 90, and he'll probably be absolutely shattered come the 20th minute. So
it's funny because I think when in the first goal, I don't know who it was that had him, and he took him out to a wide area, and I was like, oh, he's done really well there. And then he played that ball into Vlasic. Vlasic turned and yelled it, and then we were 1 down, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. He's decent. Oscar, give me a quick score prediction.
I'll go 1-1. I think it'll be a similar kind of game to the cup game. I just think we'll have that extra quality on the pitch. Hopefully, Bamford at least come off the bench. Rodrigo. I fancy us to get a draw. I'll go 1-1.
We've got to score. If we were to get a draw, we've got to score first. If we don't, and West Ham scored, that's it. It's game over for me.
First goal's massive, I think, in the game itself, to be honest. I think for whoever scores first has got a massive advantage. But I still saw enough in that game on Sunday to say we can get something. I'm going 1-1.
Nice. I'll take that as well, mate. 1-1. And I want to move on to Chris Wood. A bit of a proper random mad transfer that came out of the blue. Newcastle have gone from signing Mbappe to Chris Wood from Burnley. Listen, obviously, Locks, he was at Leicester for a period of time. He did great when he was at Leeds as well, so we can give first-hand experience of him. Look, I put on Twitter the other day, and I wanted to. Someone actually quote tweeted me. I hate that, but someone quote tweeted me saying, "How can you I don't know if de-strengthen's the right word, but how can you de-strengthen someone and not strengthen the other?" Because I'd made a comment and said it makes Burnley weaker. That was it, not de-strengthen, weaker. It makes Burnley weaker. But I'm not sure it improves Newcastle enough. And this person said, well, how can you do that? And I sort of understand where they're coming from. But I'm not sure Woody's enough for, say, if I'm a Newcastle fan, I'm not looking at the Wood signing and thinking that's us staying up. Yeah, we'll probably get double figures because he does score. But it just seems a bit of a mad vibe. That all I'm thinking is Trippier to Wood. I'm seeing it. Is this what they're going for? Do you know what I mean? Is that literally it? Trippier, Wood. I don't know. Who wants to talk to me about the transfer?
Go on.
Go on, mate.
I think Chris Wood's just a stopgap. Seriously, I wouldn't surprise me if Chris Wood. He's probably doubled his wages. At a guess, he's probably doubled his wages from Burnley.
It's the highest transfer fee for someone of his age in the Premier League ever.
I was going to say, like, it's a lot. Was he 30?
Yeah, 35 million, yeah. Mad.
I mean, the thing is, you look at it, Trippier's delivery, Wood in the air, he's always going to get on the end of things. So it makes sense in that respect. And if they're going to go 4-4-2, you can have Wilson and Wood up top. But I would agree with you, though. I'd have the same analysis as you. I'd say Burnley definitely lose from this more than Newcastle gain. And I think that might be part of Newcastle's thinking that if they take... I still think Cornet is the main man at Burnley, but the only other man who's really going to get goals from is Chris Wood.
Is Illa gone to AFCON as well, right, Cornet?
Yeah, that's another thing as well. So they're down to Barnes and Rodriguez at the minute now. Burnley. So that's obviously not. It's not really going to be good enough, is it? They're going to have to. Obviously, they will bring someone in, I'd imagine, Burnley. But look, there's definitely weakens Burnley. There's no doubt about it. You know, in terms of how they play, they need that target man up there, that big physical presence. But for Newcastle, I just think it's a stopgap. Keep them up this season. Wood and Wilson, Saint-Maximin, Trippier trying to get balls into the box for him. And just to someone just to hold the ball up and maybe help.
Maximin won't get a ball in for him.
I was waiting for that comment. To be fair, you're not far off on Saint-Maximin. I mean, you know, he's definitely dropped, hasn't he, last couple of weeks. But no, they need more. I still think they need that big game changer. That's someone who can just grab a game by the scruff of the neck. I just don't think that's Chris Wood, to be totally honest with you. And I think that's what they miss. You know, like a Dennis for Watford or Cornet for Burnley. I think that if I was Newcastle, I'd have gone for Dennis, to be honest with you. I know it cost a lot more money, but that's someone who really is too good to be playing for Watford, to be honest with you. And someone who probably could be like a long-term option for Newcastle too. But I certainly don't think if Newcastle stay up, they won't be starting next season with Chris Wood up top. They'll be trying to get they'll be trying to get someone else in, you know, whoever that is. Probably from higher up the table, you know. Who knows? Might be Harry Kane at the way things are going, but yeah, I don't know. I still think Newcastle will do more, though. I still think Newcastle need a bit of a game changer in the final third, and probably a leader at the back. I think they've obviously been looking at Botman from Lille, who I think it really would fit them quite well.
I don't think that's going to happen though, because it'd have happened.
It's ambitious.
I don't think Botman wants it.
They don't want to sell him. They've offered a lot.
I don't think Botman wants it, Corey.
No, but they're finding the painful reality of you can't really buy your way out of it. And even I kind of was sceptical and thought surely someone will buy it on a bit of money. It won't happen. Really won't happen, because these type of players, especially Sven Botman, who's won the league in France, and there's loads of teams after him, he doesn't really need to, particularly with his age as well. It's not urgent. I think it's that Newcastle have gone for it. Like some of the players that they've been linked with, it's Diego Carlos for 30 mil, Botman. It does make sense, but they've got to be realistic for where they're at. They do. And I know Wood's a lot of money for a 30-year-old. It's overpriced, 25 or whatever.
25, At the same clause, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Maddie's even got a release clause.
It's a lot, that. It's a lot, that 25
it's a lot of money,
though.
but I think he's a good signing. I still think he'll get goals for him. I still think he'll help.
Do you think he's enough to keep them up? Do you think Burnley now are really in trouble?
Yeah, they definitely are. They lack a goal scorer, clearly. Cornet's been digging them out of holes all season when he's played. And I really don't know what it is about Burnley. I think you said that defensively they look poor as well recently.
Rubbish.
And but look, I think the argument that he definitely weakens Burnley a lot more is significant. And we've said this for a long time, how tight it is down the bottom, particularly with Newcastle and Burnley. That could be the difference. Wood will get you important goals in games that they have to win. So if that's the cost of staying up, then you pay it, don't you, really? It's a bit weird. Yeah. Not every team has the luxury, but I think
I genuinely think I was sat trying to imagine this conversation where these director of football or whoever's sat round and they're going, right, Botman, Mbappe, can we get Mbappe? Oh, Trippier, Athletic Madrid, and then someone's gone, Chris Wood's got a release clause. Do you know what I mean? I just
they'll be the same with Howe, though.
I don't know.
They never planned to get... When they came into Newcastle, they never planned to get Eddie Howe and Chris Wood, did they? Let's be honest. Trippier is probably the only one. Trippier, they've got a bit lucky on, because the way Atletico Madrid are, they're trying to move him on. They've got a bit lucky on Trippier. They got Trippier cheap to me. I know he's 30, but 12 mil's quite cheap on Trippier for his delivery, his quality. But look, the thing is as well, like Eddie Howe, I don't know, when we're saying like putting balls into the box, is that the way Eddie Howe's teams tend to play? As well, like, you know, in terms of playing the ball long into the target man. I think they've always tended to have quite, you know, short, quick kind of strikers. You know, your Callum Wilsons and that lot.
Well, if you get, it's that old 90s like big man, little man, innit? It's hit it to Chris Wood, get it down for Wilson. Like that genuinely could work if Wilson stayed fit. Do you know what I mean?
But do they play like that? That's the thing I'd say. Eddie Howe teams, I think for Burnley it'd work quite well, Chris Wood and Callum Wilson, but I don't know. It's a strange one.
What about you, Locks? Obviously, you I know you spent some time at Leicester as well.
I think it's a good signing. I mean, obviously we talk about 25 million. I think he's enough. I think he'll get enough goals to keep them up. And obviously, as we've said about, you know, Burnley losing him, that's going to put them in a terrible situation. I think they're pretty much down, in my opinion, now, especially with this Chris Wood signing for Newcastle. But I think, would you pay 25 million to stay in the Premier League when you're in the position they are? You would, all day long. I don't know any other strikers better than Chris Wood who would sign for Newcastle, sitting 19th in the league. I don't know how many better players would want to go there. You know, if they were 13th, 14th, even 15th, maybe, you could then probably look at kind of the caliber above him. Maybe they would want to join, you know, probably safe and, you know, might go on to better things next year with more signings. But with where they're at now, I think, you know, 25 million for Chris Wood, I don't think it's that bad, even if it's just for 8 months of game time and then he's on the bench. As you said, you know, it works for him because he's the pay rise. And, you know, Burnley to Newcastle is definitely an upgrade in terms of, you know, club. So
in terms of living arrangements as well, I bet
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Or like just everything. It's just better.
I think it's good for Newcastle and Chris Wood. I think the signing makes sense in my opinion. The only question I would have is kind of the style of play with Howe and you know how it seems like they're going to go now with Wood and Trippier. But I think it's overall good signing for both Wood and Newcastle. So and shit for Sean Dyche.
I was just going to say it's a shame we don't have Haaland to give us Sean Dyche's response, because you can imagine like Burnley would have never envisaged anyone paying 25 million for Wood. Do you know what I mean? And then for him to get this money and him to be gone, like I bet they're still like a bit flabbergasted, like, wow, we've lost Wood, what are we going to do? So
and he won't have 25. He won't be able to spend 25 mil. Dyche. He won't be allowed. It'll be 10 or something. You know what I mean? It'll be a fraction of that.
If they could, like, I think the best thing for Burnley would be to just lump it all on Ben Brett and Diaz at Newcastle and just try that maybe. But I don't know. Apparently,
Ben Brereton. That Blackburn Burnley rivalry is big, you know.
Oh right, yeah. Oh,
it's big, like, you know, it gets feisty, that game. No, seriously, it does, you know.
You know,
I'm actually not messing. That won't happen. That
no, Leeds fans were singing in the South Stand, weren't they? You're just a small town in Blackburn, and I seen loads of Blackburn fans retweeting it and that. Yeah, they loved it. So fair play. Yeah, Chris Wood. Then let's move it on. Let's talk about some football games. So Saturday, 15th of Jan, 12:30 kickoff. Man City versus Chelsea. Corey, do we just expect Man City to further the gap? We've already said last time we were on here that we think the title's done and dusted. I want to get Oscar's thoughts on that, which we all thought it was going to be tight. But Corey, do you think Man City will just have too much for Chelsea?
Yeah, I think Chelsea have struggled so far in the past couple of months or so, just in terms of fluidity in attack, and I think that is problematic for them. Granted, I thought I did really well against Spurs in both legs, to be honest, in possession, and Tuchel's actually flexed it a little bit in terms of formation, and they are achieving results. But for me, City are a different level, and Guardiola will massively fancy that game and see that as a bit of a marker in the sand. Because if they win that, then I mean, I think the league's done anyway, if you ask me honestly. But if they beat Chelsea, it all ends up. So it's, you know, it must be weird being a Chelsea fan. You're in that position of you're not bad enough that you're going to drop out of the top four, but you're also not good enough that you're going to go and win it. So where do you lie? For them now, it's all cup competitions. They've got to go and win the Carabao. So yeah, I only expect a Manchester City win for me.
Yeah, it's quite funny. I seen a Twitter exchange between Matisse and Saeed. I don't know if you've seen that. Like Matisse had said,
I think we should. Timberland boots, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I was in stitches.
He's got some serious chest on him, so to start talking about £100 million players and that. So.
I know. But he said, like, I think we should keep it the same as last time, you know. And then, Saeed, I think, tweeted it saying something like, he paid 90 million for Timberland boots and he's on the bench or something like that.
Chelsea got a massive problem, but I didn't realise how deep their problem was with their wing backs. I didn't know Chilwell was out for the season. Reece James is out until March, and they're trying to get I think they're getting back Kennedy from a loan deal to play him left wing. That tells you a lot about where Chelsea are at, and I find it a bit strange that, given how good Tuchel's done for them, that board aren't going, here's your 60 mil. I know it's difficult in January, but there are players out there that probably would join Chelsea given the right type of money. So I think then they're a bit unhappy in terms of the actual ambition.
There's always that of Chelsea, innit? Short-termism, like,
Yeah.
end of the day, that I still think this Lukaku thing and that, it's just weird, man. How that went off, it was a proper madness. Yeah, mad one. Oscar, we hadn't had you on since Man City sort of steamrolled it over Christmas. Obviously, I know you made that prediction that we all went along with you, that it'd be the league would be won by 1 or 2 points or whatever in a couple of games, but City have just steamrolled it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did think Chelsea had fall off. Go on, give us some credit.
No, sorry, yeah. You did.
I got that one.
You were the one.
Delighted about that as well. Buzzing that's come through. Rudiger, can't hear you sing anymore, can we? Oh, buzzing with that. I just want Phil Foden to just be dragging Rudiger just all over the place in that game. What a fantastic start to the weekend that would be. Rudiger own goal in the first 5 minutes. Anyway, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Man City are just unreal, aren't they? Let's be totally honest. It's not logical, really, what Man City are doing. They've not got like an out-and-out goal scorer in the team, but they're still the top scorers in the whole league. You just know one of that front six is going to step up. If it's Bernardo Silva one week, it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne the next week, or Phil Foden or Mahrez. They're all going to get 10, 15, maybe 20 goals between them. So it's enough for City at this moment in time. But yeah, they're going to win the league this season. It'd literally have to be an injury to Diaz, an injury to Ederson, or an injury to, say, Rodri. It'd have to be one of the real fundamental players in the team for him to really make it close for me. Because at this moment in time, you just can't see how anyone. I can't see how City drop enough points to give the other team a chance. Even if Liverpool win every game from now to the end of the season, can you see City dropping 10 points? I can't. To be honest with you, 3 games, 4 games, I can't see it happening. So yeah, it's definitely, in terms of the competitiveness of the league, it's concerning in terms of the whole entertainment, because if City are that good, it kind of makes you switch off a little bit, to be totally honest with you. You love watching City, but then you're thinking the other teams are that far off, and then if they get Haaland or someone like that in the summer to add to all this, it's a real concern in that kind of respect. But yeah, City are going to easily win it. I think there's a chance they can still get 100 points, I think, City. So they'll obviously be trying to do that as well. There's every chance they can do that, certainly on the form they're in. But Chelsea, I think the whole Lukaku situation was dealt with really badly. I think Tuchel, with his initial press conference when he sort of started making a big scene about it, Lukaku's not going to play, I think all Tuchel needed to say was, I don't know, he's been misquoted or it doesn't matter. Just something. Just don't leave it up in the air the way he did, and then play the game. You couldn't
have said he'd been misquoted in that interview. You'd have been called
anything. Just say anything. Just ignore it. Just play Lukaku in that game against Liverpool and the win. All the chances Havertz. The chances Havertz had in that game, though. You know what I mean?
Like Klopp and just be an absolute knobhead to the journalist. You know what I mean? That's what.
That's another matter. That's. I tell you what. In terms of, since Klopp started doing that in press conferences, Liverpool season's fallen to pieces.
It's gone, man. It's getting to him. The pressure. He's gone.
It's just some of the that one with the journalists. That's just no need for that, is there really? You know what I mean? It wasn't even a bad question. It wasn't even like a controversial question. It was just like. It was about the injuries last season or something. It was just, I don't even know what kicks off that response.
Crystal Palace or something. He went, you lost to get you at Crystal Palace, and he were like, well, he's just a knob, isn't he?
Well, Chelsea and Liverpool are a long way off. That's all I'm saying. They're a long, long way off. Yeah. And you got to consider as well with Liverpool, Salah's had one of the best seasons individually that we've seen in a long time. Imagine if Salah hadn't been as good as what he has been. You know what I mean? How much further they would be back. So, I think Liverpool are going to invest, I think, in the summer. I think, obviously, Bellingham's been mentioned. Diaz from Porto, left winger.
For Bellingham.
It depends, but I think it'll get to a situation where Klopp will say
150 bags.
Yeah, but they're that far off City now. What's the point of Klopp being there if they're not going to spend? That'd be my argument.
Yeah, it is actually mad to think that Liverpool at the minute don't look like they've got any ambition to go and spend. And you're hearing stuff about Salah's wage and that they're not going to pay it for clearly the best player in the world, which is nuts to me. And I think you are right. He must be looking at it thinking, I can't build. And I can't even believe we're saying this, but against Chelsea, you look at the injuries that they had in their midfield. The minute you take someone like a Thiago out of it, there's no control. How can Liverpool, with that level of manager, not be able to fit someone in. If you can't do that in the same manner, or at least compete with City in terms of depth, it's so difficult. It is so difficult to do. And Liverpool, for me, are on a bit of a cycle anyway. I think Milner's coming to the end of it. Again, they're picking up sort of niggly little injuries here and there. They need a refresh maybe at the front line and get someone else in to help out Mane and Salah. So it's actually a bit of a clutch point. I'd be interested to see if Salah goes or they don't pay it, what Klopp does. Because that's a bit of a kick in the teeth. That, for me, that would be one of the things where
if they lost Salah, that's the end of the whole project for me. Because or Mane, if they lost one of those two, I think it's the end of their project for me. Or Mane, if one of those two went, maybe not Mane so much now. Mane's dropped a little bit this season, but certainly Salah. If he goes,
you could get away with Mane, but the Salah one would be
just about. But But it's like one of them. You're saying if they got rid of Mane, who's going to come in for Mane from that current team? Minamino. You know what I mean? There's a massive drop off in quality. So I was talking to a Liverpool fan today, and it's about like Gerrard and that. Like he said that if Gerrard went to Liverpool, it'd be a step down in terms of budget from what he's on at Villa.
Yeah, it's true.
Villa have already got Coutinho, who's on I think he's on like 300 grand a week at Barcelona, something mad like that. They're paying a big portion of those wages. They're looking at Bazuma, apparently Villa. A couple of other players looking at as well.
Luca
Dean. Who's that? Sorry, mate.
Luca Dean from Everton.
Yeah, they've just bought. So it's a step down. You know what I mean in terms of budget. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out if Klopp did go, because it's a bit like how Klopp ended at Dortmund in terms of the way things are going. They've been in that battle with Bayern Munich, who were like the City in that kind of analogy, and in the end, Bayern are just too powerful, and Dortmund just haven't got the ambition. Liverpool haven't got the ambition, and I just feel that's the way it's going. I just think it's going to take a big lot of recruitment, I think, in the summer to sort it out. And they've lost the head of recruitment as well, Michael Edwards, who's apparently going to go to Madrid in the summer. So they've got a big problem, I think, Liverpool at this moment in time.
I do think they'll come sniffing for Rafinha in the summer, to be fair, and maybe. But
if they keep Salah, he plays the same position as Salah.
Yeah. True.
The thing is, like, you look at players like Rafinha or even Bowen, and I think the dynamic of Premier League teams has changed anyway, to be honest. But Liverpool can't come sniffing for players and say, we'll give you 30 mil, and, you're just going to have to take it. These clubs are just going to turn around and say 50, 60, 70. Yeah. And they're not going to pay that for a backup. So it would need a Salah to go, or someone like Mane to go for them to switch him in, which still doesn't really solve your argument of Liverpool have got a strong enough actual squad to compete on every single front and go as far. But yeah, I'm not really that fussed about Liverpool, to be honest. They can do.
I think part of it is on Klopp, though. The last couple of weeks, I think, have been a little bit on Klopp in terms of he's talked about he's not had the options to rotate, but he's been playing Salah and Mane in Champions League games when they've been qualified. They're already qualified. You're thinking he's got to take a bit of responsibility as well for me, Klopp. But I don't think he can just put it down to just recruitment. He's got to criticise one or two things he's done the last couple of weeks.
Thoughts on Klopp, Locks?
Prick. That's it, mate. That's it. I think there was a good like 2-3 years where everyone kind of loved him. It seemed, and and he's just he's showing his.
He's been the master of his own downfall in that respect, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just moan after moan. It's like bingo, isn't it? Like what's Klopp moaning about today? Yeah. Like there's always something. And I mean, after we beat them, after Leicester beat them, I saw you retweet. I think it was a fake quote, but
I got done by it, man.
The fact that we all believed it shows like how ludicrous it is.
Do you know how bad it was? The Anfield rap or their big, like massively, even they got hoodwinked by it.
Yeah, did you see it, Oscar? You're looking a bit.
I just remember that the funniest was the Leicester game when Liverpool fans were turning on Van Dijk, and I was thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, that was so funny.
Don't renew his contract. Van Dijk is just all for show. He can't actually defend, and all this. Like, I'm thinking, this is just madness.
You'll never walk alone until you make a mistake.
Yeah, I think. My favourite thing was, like, a couple of weeks prior, there was some people on Twitter and on videos and that said we in a roundabout way that we should be grateful for Liverpool because they were keeping the title race interesting. So, like, thank you, Liverpool, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, they've done that, haven't they?
Liverpool, City had run away with it and had a been, and I was a bit like, where you get like, no, like that's not a thing. Like,
it's such a weird mentality. Why would I care? Like I can understand from maybe a more neutral point of view, it makes the league interesting. Why would most teams care whether Liverpool were competitive or not?
It's just
nuts.
It just ties in with this whole this big six, like self-entitlement, mate. It's all six of them. Like I don't care. All six of them are as bad as each other, at times, and it makes me sick, mate. I hate them all.
I hear you. Let's talk about another Big 16 then. I know we were going to be done for quads, but I feel like we've still got some legs in us yet, lads. If that's all right.
Yeah.
You've already done West Ham, haven't you?
Eh?
What? Pipe Daniel, you're not a Big 6 team anymore. You're not challenging. Now you've fallen off. We've got to step up. Someone's got to do something, haven't they?
No, yeah. I want to talk about Man United Villa. Just because I want to talk about Man United and how I don't think I've had your lads' thoughts on it really. We had Corey's, of course, but Locks, obviously, Ranić was the godfather to, Tuchel, to Klopp. I think Klopp even made comments along the lines of we need to be worried about Man United now. Now they're going to be a serious team and that again. And obviously they're dire. Even the other night when they beat Villa, they were still poor. Do you know what I mean? They're not great. What are your thoughts on Rashford as well? What's going on there?
Yeah, man. The whole dressing room seemed just can't be asked, can it? To be fair, it just makes me think again back to how good of a job Jose Mourinho did with that Man United squad, mate. I mean, he did say as well. He said afterwards it was. What did he say? He said it was one of his best achievements, finishing second with them. And did Ole got them second as well, right? Last season.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. When people were saying that it was an anomaly, like Liverpool had many injuries. Chelsea had Frank Lampard till January, and it was like it's a false position. And even Gary Neville was like, "Yeah, we were second." No, it was an anomaly, man. Like it wasn't real.
It's like I mean, I said it about Tottenham as well. I say it to Matt and I used to say it to Elaine. They're like, it's not the manager. The manager isn't the problem. Ole was a big problem, I will say. Obviously, we all know that. However, the main issue isn't the manager. It's the club. It's above the manager's head, and ultimately the people that go out and have to who we have to put the trust in are players, and they're just Rashford. It's unbelievable. Like looking at Rashford, the drop off and how disinterested he seems. Obviously, that clip that's been going around from the other day, where the ball. I'm sure you've all seen it. Where the ball. Was it Greenwood takes a shot and then the ball. Rashford's fuming because he hasn't squared it to him, and the keeper's like not handled it, and the ball's like just sat there in the penalty area. Rashford's not even gone after it. He just put his head down and walked away, where he could have tapped it in. So, I don't know. I keep hearing rumours, leaks, and all this stuff, and I don't know if you saw it. Is it Louis Macari? Did you see that?
No.
Is it Louis Macari? Is that his name?
Louis Macari, isn't it? That's the same.
He's a former player, isn't he?
Yeah, have you not seen this on that the MUTV? Obviously, that normally that's very, it's all controlled and what's said and all of that on the MUTV. Glazer TV, as United fans like to call it. Louis Macari went on, and they were thinking, they probably said to him before, just be behaved and all this, and he just went in on them, mate. He went in on the players. He said, if you don't want to be here, get out and all of this. You should watch the clip. It's really good, but yeah, it's I don't know how it's going to be turned around. Ralph is meant to be picking their new manager, and I don't know with those big players there, mate. And their captain Harry Maguire, which is just ridiculous. I don't know how anyone's going to turn the club around to be title challengers again. It would be a story, though, wouldn't it, Joe?
Mate, I knew it was coming, bro. I was gonna say, well, when they do turn it around, it'll be some story. You beat me to it. Yeah, I think the funniest thing I seen, I think it was on Football for All, and obviously it was. I don't know, maybe it was true, but they put out this thing. I think I don't think it was true, but. It was so funny. It said there. Apparently, Ronaldo had said to Maguire, "Do you want the only piece of silverware to be holding his handcuffs in Greece or something like that?" It was brilliant. Oscar, you must be enjoying it, bro. Because we were all told this guy was like, because I was started saying B-Tech Bielsa because they were the way that the narrative was like he was the godfather, and we've been hammered for that over the last few seasons, and to see this sudden flip and how Man United thought they were back, and they're quite clearly not, because they're already talking about new managers and that, and this guy was going to be the next Fergie by all accounts.
I mean, he's won a German Cup.
Yeah, and I think he won an Intertoto as well, right?
And then Intertoto Cup, sorry, and then Intertoto Cup too. But the way he talks as well in his conferences and that lot, and he's already trying to say, "Oh, we only need one cup competition and all this lot." I'm thinking, mate, let's be honest, no one had heard. 90% of football fans hadn't heard of you before you took the Man United job. He's trying to you're not Jurgen Klopp, you're not Pep Guardiola. You can't just go in 2 weeks into your job and start saying you need to change the cup competitions. You haven't got the clout, mate. You just haven't got the clout to do that. You know what I mean? It's but yeah, I mean, look, I think actually points-wise they've actually improved since he's come in. But you look at it with your eyes. They've played some poor teams. They made hard work of it at Norwich. I saw a bit of that game. What was that? Just before Christmas. They played Burnley, Newcastle. So, look, the team's in the bottom three. So, they've hardly been severely tested. Yes, the Villa game's a bit more of a test, but by all accounts, it looked like they were lucky to win that game. Looks like Villa were quite hard done to. And I quite fancy Villa at Villa Park to cause problems. In terms of if they put a full team out. You've got the likes of Leon Bailey running at Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's going to be, or Dalot, whoever it is on that side, going to cause problems. Coutinho, obviously, might come off the bench. You know what kind of story that's going to be. If Coutinho scores, it's going to happen, isn't it? Which I think is a very good signing, by the way, just as a bit of a side point. But Man United, I mean, Ronaldo's gone in there. He's already talking about finishing in the top three. That's not even going to happen anyway. You're just thinking they got their recruitment horribly wrong in the summer in terms of Corey won't thank me for saying this, but someone like a Declan Rice was pretty obviously what they needed in that middle of the park. You're not going to win a title with Scott McTominay and Fred. You're not going to even compete for a title with Scott McTominay and Fred. Long may it continue. Apparently, in terms of the favourite, I think currently for the job, this isn't in the know or anything, but it looks like Pochettino, I think, is the favourite still. I think he's going to leave PSG in the summer. I've got to say, in terms of the job Pochettino's done with the big egos of the PSG dressing room to the big egos of the Man United dressing room, that doesn't really bother me that much, to be honest with you. I don't think he's that suited for the job, so let's hope that happens.
Yeah. I did enjoy Steven Gerrard turning around to the Man United.
Oh, that was that was how good was that? He didn't stick two fingers up and go, fuck off. Just turned around and just said, like that. Yeah,
loved it. I loved it, mate. I can't lie. I proper loved it. I was like, "Go on, lad." Right, let's finish up with some Spurs Arsenal, North London derby. Corey, who do you see as your biggest rival for top four out of these? How do you want it to go?
I thought you were going to say who's our biggest rival, and there's only one, mate. There's only one in that conversation.
No. But for the top four, how do you want this one to go? How would it be best for you? Because have Arsenal still got games in hand?
I think they got one game in hand, and Spurs have got two. So draw, really, if I'm honest. Draw. I'm kind of half looking over my shoulder. I'm looking at that Man United game and thinking, if we beat Man United next week, irrespective of what's going on with Arsenal and Spurs, that's 6 points ahead of them, which is fantastic. So a draw. It's going to be weird. It's just we're just in flux at the minute. The Arsenal, Spurs, West Ham, because Spurs Conte comes in, they look really strong. I've said before that I would argue they've got an edge in getting to the top four with a manager like that. And yet I look at their squad and I watched them against Chelsea. I didn't actually realise the levels that they're at and the players that they have and how poor they really are in terms of personnel. So I think it's going to be title season. And that's the thing, not to say about West Ham, but if we actually sign a couple of players now, there is a chance we could sneak in there. So, I don't know. Draw, mate.
Are you surprised to have not seen Spurs already active? Because I thought Conte would have been
He looks very stressed. Looks pale. Doesn't look happy. I think, and we discussed this anyway. if you get Conte in, you've got to back him. You know what you're getting with him. He's an elite manager, but he has to have the players around him. And I don't think he's asked for anything, from what I can hear in terms of rumours, anything excessive. I think of Adama Traore for 20 mil. I think he wanted Frank Kessie from AC Milan, which again, I think he's out of contract.
Why do they want Traore, bro?
He's just an anomaly.
Can someone please explain to me why people want to buy him?
I think he'd make an all right wing back, to be honest.
Bro, he doesn't even always start at Wolves.
No, he's not a right wing. He's not got enough end product to be a winger for me. He's better, a bit deeper and just drive forward to the ball a bit. I don't think he's good enough anyway, to be honest with you. I think they need better than... I think Lamptey's a far better option for Tottenham than Traore. But you look at Tottenham, and I just think Kane's a strange one for me. I mean, in terms of... He's looked good in spells, he's looked bad in spells, but I think ultimately when he saw that Lukaku stuff going on, if you gave the chance to Conte to swap Lukaku and Kane, I think he would have done it. To be honest with you, I think he would have done it in terms of Lukaku and Son, in terms of the way Conte likes to play, having that big target man there. I think it's a far better fit. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of the Kane future. But yeah, I just don't see that Conte thing lasting long at Tottenham. I think he's already got into that frustrated stage that Corey's talking about. And when he was in this country for Chelsea, it was later on when he got to that stage, not like in the first few months. This stage that is like Conte's time is supposed to be the good time. You know, when you're winning things or pushing up the table, he's done a really good job so far, to be totally honest. To even have Tottenham with a chance of getting into that top four is utterly ridiculous. Keeping clean sheets with Eric Dyer and Ben Davis at the back. Unbelievable stuff. But yeah, I think Arsenal, to me, whether they win or lose this game, I think Arsenal have got a much, much better chance of top four than Tottenham. I just think they've got a better style of play. I think obviously Arteta's had a bit more time in the job. They're spending more money. They're talking about Vlahovic now. I think Artur's being linked from Juventus. So I just think Arsenal are a lot closer than Tottenham, regardless of this result. And I just think the fact Arsenal have got no European football either, they're out of the cups already too. I still think it's advantage Arsenal in that kind of respect between those two.
Give us a score prediction for North London derby then, Locks.
Oh, I don't want any of them to win, so I'll probably go with a... Why not?
0-0. Corey?
2-1 Tottenham. Disgusting behaviour.
Yeah. Oscar?
1-1.
I think Arsenal will win it. I think.
Is it at the Emirates or is it at that horrible place?
It is
that Tottenham.
Tottenham, yeah, they won 3-1 last time at the Emirates, didn't they?
Apparently, Arsenal have got a horrific record away at Spurs over the past couple of years. So I think that's why I'm banking on Spurs to nick it.
Cool. It'll be a good game, though. It'll be one that I will enjoy. Before we finish, let's go to Locks. Leicester, mate, obviously thumped by City. And then obviously beat Liverpool. How's the Rodgers-ometer at the minute? Is he in? Is he out? What's going on?
No, I don't know, mate. Honestly, I think it's very, very cruel for to say I want him out on recent performances because of the injuries that we do have. We are in the shit. Like a lot more than we were even a month ago when we were in shit then. So, yeah, we've got big.
You're literally in the top 10, though.
Yeah,
you're literally in the top 10. You can't be that, and loads of games in hand.
Yeah, it's not great, mate. Though we've got obviously Vardy's now out until, which seemed like apparently it was a hamstring strain, and then he carried on for 20 minutes, and now it's a tear or something. Obviously, Iheanacho is at the AFCON, so is Ndidi. Daka's back to full fitness, apparently. We don't know if he's going to start against Burnley. We've got obviously Farner still out. James Justin's played 45 minutes in the under 23, so he's nowhere near fit. He hasn't been, he's been injured for 10 months. I don't know where you want me to stop, mate. I mean, it's
Rodgers in or out?
Yeah.
Right now, I think he deserves a little bit more time, of course, because he's got. I mean, we obviously our last game was cancelled because we had 8 8 fit players. That was it. 8 fit players. Obviously, first team players, should I say? We played the FA Cup game against Watford, and then we had a 16-year-old. We had Lewis Brunt, who's like 20. We had players that we've not even heard of. Like, we've probably heard of 2 of them, and the others we'd never really heard of. So, but I don't think that counted towards the requirement for having to, play a Premier League game. So, yeah, it's tough. I'd give him, a couple more months maybe, to see what we can do. But we had players out at the start of the season, but we didn't have this many out. We had enough players in the team to win games at the start of the season, and it didn't happen. So I'm not entirely confident that he's going to turn it around. So I would imagine come the end of the season, I will be Rodgers out. I would imagine. But I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. I don't know. There ain't any other better managers out there who Leicester can get. But on the other hand, I think Rodgers taking us as far as he can. I know that sounds stupid because we're Leicester City, and we should be happy with 5th place 2 years in a row in an FA Cup. But we wanted top 4, and we should have got top 4, and we didn't. So yeah. And this year would have been a great year to. We would if we played to the levels we did last year. This season, we'd have got top 4. I think. Obviously, the season's not over, but
I don't know about that, mate. You had it 2 years running and bottled it, so I don't know. No,
we'd be above. We'd be above Arsenal. We'd definitely be in the top 4 at this stage. 100%. We would. I think we'd be. We were better last season than West Ham are this season, for sure. I've no doubt about that.
Well,
yeah.
Calm.
Hang
on a minute, mate. We've beaten some big teams here. I don't remember you battering any big teams.
I don't think Leicester were better than West Ham last season.
Didn't we spank you last season and this season as well?
But still, I think.
And the only reason you got anywhere near the top 4 in the first place, Locks, in terms of bottling it, I know you did bottle it. Let's be honest, 2 seasons in a row you bottled it.
Yeah.
But without Rodgers, you wouldn't have got anywhere near it. I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't remember you getting anywhere near it with Claude Puel in charge.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we won the thing with Ranieri in charge, but I know that was a freak season. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Rodgers, there's not a better manager out there that Leicester can get. It will be a down. If we sack him at the end of the season, it is going to be a downgrade to whoever we get. But I think it just feels around the club that maybe he has taken us as far as he can. And I'm not saying anyone can take us further, but I think Rodgers is an ambitious manager, and I don't think he will want to stay at the club either if he knows that he can't progress. I think he would move on as well.
I think someone like a Graham Potter or Vieira, if you could get one of those 2, I think they do a decent job. But
slow down on Vieira, man. He's had one decent run at it. Calm down.
Nah, Vieira's good. Come on, Vieira's done a good job at Palace.
Yeah. That's right.
You won't admit it though. You'll never admit it.
Yeah. What did someone say to me before? A clock's right twice. Because I said, what was it? After we'd beaten Burnley, I said, I told you all. And someone went, yeah, but you've been wrong all the time. Clock's right twice in a day, you dick. All that sort of stuff. I was like, all right, calm down.
Do you know what's mad about Leicester, though? It kind of does feel that even if Rodgers stayed in the summer and they got all of their injuries back, and their recruitment's spot on, or even if you got Potter in, they would be up. Like this season, if this was the Leicester last season, they would be. I do think they'd be ahead of us, like honestly, because I think they were good. It's just the mentality thing for them. But it's weird. This season's weird, honestly, genuinely. And the fact that you've not had James Justin every single week, I look at a Leicester squad and they're in and out, and Vardy's out. It's impossible. It's impossible for any team to maintain that level. So,
Yannick Vestergaard is the worst centre back I have ever seen in a Leicester City shirt. Right. Sol Bamba was levels above that, mate. Honestly, when I first heard we were signing Vestergaard, I was like, that's a good signing.
Yeah,
mate, I swear to God, he looks like a League Two player. At best, mate, he is atrocious. I don't know what's happened there.
From Southampton as well.
I don't get it, mate. I don't get it because it seemed like a great signing, but it's just Brian. But we signed 2 of the back 4 that we put 9 a pass.
No, but you were singing Bertrand's praises at the start of the season.
He looked good in pre-season against Villarreal, to be fair to him, but since then, mate, it's just not been great. Luke Thomas Luke Thomas looks levels above him, but yeah, I don't know, mate. He's a good
player, Thomas.
Yes,
he did a great job on Salah a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I would imagine we're going to be somewhere between 10th and 7th come the end of the season. I don't see us breaking into, getting 6th. So yeah, we'll see what the board decide at the end of the season. But I said it before, mate, before Christmas, I would just don't be surprised if Rodgers is gone, because we've seen it before with Ranieri and Nigel Pearson after the Great Escape. He's not scared of sacking managers.
I think Rodgers has a bit more about him than them two, though. Like, do you know what I mean? In terms of just what he does and the stages they're at in their careers, I guess.
Yeah. Again, though, it might be a Rodgers thing as well. It might genuinely be a mutual agreement. If Rodgers doesn't think he can progress us any further, then what is the point in staying? In my opinion, if you're not going to take us any, do any better, then yeah. But we'll see. Right. We'll see.
I suppose though, like 10th is not good enough for Leicester, really, is it? I know. I know. I have a laugh with him and say, "Oh, you're Leicester," but Champions League close, FA Cup, and then 10th. I think he will be disappointed.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, in terms of they've lost Fofana. I mean, to be fair to Rodgers, he's lost his best centre-back before the ball's even been kicked this season. We've already said about the injuries. He's had the problems with Maddison from the end of last season. He's actually, I think he's handled the Maddison thing really well, because I think Maddison's been playing pretty well recently. I think we all thought he was gone, Maddison, in terms of
gimp, Maddison.
Yeah, but he's been playing well.
Good player though.
I don't think.
Can I just ask what you made to his TikTok video? How did that go down?
Maddison will never make it for me at the top level until he changes his whole attitude towards playing football. You can't just turn up 1 week.
With Leicester fans, Locks?
What, the day in the life of a footballer video? TikTok, yeah, mate.
Did it not go down well? I can imagine that Ellen Road would be like, "What are you doing, you Doyle?"
It didn't go down as bad as the Boohoo Man Maddison launch the day before a massive game against West Ham to get us in the top 4. But yeah, I don't like. There's been a lot of talk about a lot of fans feel like this new training ground. It feels as if they're just all on a holiday. Like they're all on an all-inclusive holiday at bloody, Leicestershire countryside. Like, and that's how it feels. And I don't know, is this a normal thing, right? Is this a normal thing or not? Because I don't like it, and I don't know if this is like an old-fashioned way of looking at things, but players going on holiday like around the world when they're a severe injury, I don't like that. Am I being like cynical there or what? Because Fofana, with his obviously fractured leg, he's out playing football in the Maldives while we're playing against Man City, getting beaten, by a few goals, and Jamie Vardy's obviously now got a tear, and he's flown off somewhere to Dubai or somewhere. And for me, it doesn't sit.
In your list of problems, Locks, this season, that's got to be down there. I'm not being fully.
That's a very archaic view. Like, you're injured, therefore you must stay at home. Yeah, in your house.
Should clean the stadium. Should clean the toilets at the stadium. For me, that's me.
I can imagine if I was like, obviously, football's 24/7. If you then had a break, one of the first things you would probably say to your wife would be, "At least we can get away for a few weeks." Like, and you can't begrudge them that.
No, I know what Loxy's saying.
I think they should be at the training ground. For me, I think they should have to come into work. Come into work, man. Like,
what difference does it make?
Have a bit, do some scans on his leg or something. give him a massage. Like, I don't, I don't like it, especially. I mean, the Fofana things are slightly different to the Vardy thing. Like, I don't think you should be playing football. Like,
no, definitely not. No, I get
that. When you're not, you know what I mean.
I went to school with a lad who played. He got to championship level, and he weren't allowed to play for a school team when he was at Huddersfield Town as a young'un. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that professional footballers are playing football whilst they're injured is a bit of a mad one, really.
People have got injured, haven't
they?
Eh? Sorry, didn't Ben Foster get injured by doing a YouTube thing as well? I can't remember if that was. See what I mean?
I think I heard something like that. Yeah.
Dodge.
But the whole.
What a parting shot!
the whole medical department is just. I mean, I sent that graphic, and I don't know if you saw it, Joe. The photos I sent in the group chat, like about how many days each player has missed since August last year. We had an elite record when it comes.
They're never bloody there, are they? They're always on holiday. They're bumping into you on holiday all the time. That's what they're doing.
Well, mate, Leicester had an elite record with injuries prior to August 2020, and Rodgers decided to switch it up and get rid of the medical staff. Dave Rennie is a guy who was the chief medical whatever, and he'd been at the club for like 15 years. He got rid of him, brought in a load of new staff, and literally that you can pinpoint it. Since then, for some reason, it's just gone to shit. I think it's 600 days, mate, over 600 days when you combine the players that have been injured and how many days they've been out for. If you combine it all together, it's 600 games. 600 games worth of injuries that we've had since August 2020. So, yeah, it's a mystery, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, it sounds like you've solved it, mate, with that. If you sack that Gadget and then all of a sudden the injuries have gone up, they've obviously whoever's come in's a dud, really, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
but yeah,
I think that's settled. Rodgers out. Right.
Reason. Let's say injured players go on holiday.
Yeah. Looks like Jamie Vardy putting pictures on with his missus and that, and he's going, "You're a disgrace." Get back to training and have a massage. That training ground was state of the art. I did sit through the day in the life of the footballer thing, to be fair. So.
It's unreal, mate. Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah.
James Maddison, whenever he walks into a bar, the first thing he says is, "Do you know who I am?" It is, isn't it? Let's be totally honest. That's what James Maddison does.
100%. But I think we'll leave it there. Thank you, as always, guys, for coming on. Thanks for those that have watched. It's a pleasure. It's always a great laugh. Thanks for supporting the channel. Please do like the video, subscribe if you're new, and also check out the West Ham Way. Make sure you check out All Leeds TV and Javiesta TV if that's still a thing. I think that was.
It might be.
It's a bit like lots in the box.
I'm a bit busy. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, and if you're at Ellen Road next week, then you've got some spare cash. Go in the Legends Lounge and watch Oscar talking to the heroes of yesteryear. Yeah, and I think we'll leave it there. Corey,
yes.
I hope you get beat at the weekend, pal.
Bring it on, mate. Bring it on. Do you know what I mean? Let's hope VAR isn't working again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about
that. No.
Let's not. Let's not.
Honestly, mate, I actually feel bad for
not.
We're in London, aren't we? As Neil Warnock would say. We're in London. That's the difference.
He was a joke, that ref, but that's for another day. I've done that. Anyway, Locks, thank you as always. Hopefully we'll have you back soon.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you as always for watching in, and have a great weekend, people. And I will see you all.